Here's a conversation reflecting on Chapter 1, The Great Misunderstanding.
Today we're jumping into a really powerful piece of work, Mark Firehammer's The Lens That Changes Everything. And it tackles this quiet fear I think a lot of us have. When you try to change a habit or improve something and it just doesn't stick,
Right.
you start to wonder, maybe something is just wrong with me.
And that's the core of it. Well, what's so liberating about this idea is its central message. It was never you. It was the lens you were given.
The lens you were given.
Yeah. And for anyone listening who feels like they're just constantly searching for the next method, the next book, that's not failure. Firehammer argues that's actually your intelligence. It's the part of you that senses the real mechanism hasn't been shown to you yet.
Okay, so let's unpack that mechanism.
Yeah.
Because most people, myself included, we're taught to work on the measurable stuff.
The output.
Exactly. Your behavior, your discipline, your goals,
Right.
the things you can see and track.
Right. But what this work reveals is that every single one of those behaviors, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's the visible part of something much, much deeper.
Which is what? Beliefs.
Beliefs, stories, these inherited narratives you absorb from your family, from the culture around you, they quietly shape everything.
So we've been trying to change the symptoms without
even looking at the machine that produces them. The book has this fantastic analogy. It's like trying to stop taking distorted photographs by editing every single pixel one by one.
instead of just cleaning the camera lens.
Exactly. You're working on the output, not the source of the distortion.
I love that.
Yeah.
But it also sounds big. How do you clean the lens when it comes to a habit that feels completely baked in?
Well, the goal shifts. It's not about willpower anymore. It's about clarity. Once you see how the lens was formed, patterns that felt like your own personal flaws suddenly make complete sense.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about an inherited narrative around money. Maybe you grew up with parents who went through a really tough recession. Their anxiety, their fear. You absorb that. It becomes a permanent filter, a lens. And today, that lens quietly dictates how you view risk or career choices or even asking for a raise. It explains why some changes just never stick.
So understanding the mechanism is the key.
It's everything. It explains why your creativity feels so inconsistent, or why you find yourself saying yes when every part of you is screaming no.
Okay, so the material offers a framework for this, right? It lays out 3 specific lenses to map all this out.
It does. They're designed to be a kind of mapping system. The first is called the origin triangulation.
Right.
It's basically the map of how you became you. It helps you identify the 3 core forces: your early environment, pivotal emotional moments, and the dominant cultural stories you were told. That's what created your unique lens.
And the second one is BTSD equals O.
Yeah. Belief, thought, speech, deed equals outcome.
Okay, wait a second. Is that just a fancier way of saying think positive thoughts? Because we've all heard that before.
That's a great question. And no, it's actually the opposite. It's about accountability. It forces you to look at the whole sequence. Positive thinking often fails because you're trying to graft a positive thought onto a negative core belief.
I see.
This model shows you that if the root belief is scarcity, your thoughts will naturally be about lack, your speech will express doubt, your deeds will be hesitant, and the outcome. Well, the outcome is guaranteed to match the original belief.
It's an inevitable sequence.
It's an inevitable sequence. The power is in identifying the belief at the start before it all cascades.
That makes it much more actionable. Okay, and the third lens, all one thing.
That one moves beyond just the self. It gets into the creative truth that underlies human connection. The argument is that things like isolation and intense self-focus are actually side effects of a distorted lens. When you clean it, you see that creativity and genuine connection are basically the same mechanism.
So to be clear for the listener, these lenses don't replace everything you've ever tried.
Not at all. They reveal why some things you tried actually worked for a while, and more importantly, why they stopped working. The promise is pretty simple. When the lens changes, everything that you see through it changes too.
That's the core takeaway then.
It is. Once your inner lens, shaped by your family, your culture, your unique experiences, is made clear, what felt so personal and shameful just becomes understandable, workable. And once something truly makes sense, you're not stuck anymore. You're just ready.
And here's the final thought, which takes this from the personal to something much bigger. The book talks about using this framework to shape something called the Creative Humanity Alliance.
A huge idea.
It's a movement focused on restoring connection and creativity on a mass scale. The argument is that this lens-changing work isn't just for us as individuals. It's essential for our communities, for our broken institutions, maybe even for shaping the next version of society. It takes this deeply personal insight and turns it into a collective responsibility.
Thanks for listening. Before moving on, take a pause and read the next chapter. The conversation for that chapter will be waiting here when you're ready.